Mm.
So, thank you for joining. And what we'd like to do in the next couple of minutes is show, I guess, one way that you can introduce this kind of mini chair exercise for parents, for carers of adolescents who are undertaking schema therapy for kind of meal support, and how to kind of practice at home during meal times. And it's really to help parents get a better idea of the different parts of their adolescent, and rather than just kind of reacting in the moment, and I guess an opportunity to self-reflect. So we're wanting them to help the carer to get and to see that there's a vulnerable part behind the other modes. Okay, so Fatima, who is the mother of
Yeah.
the adolescent, and I'm the therapist. So, Fatima, thank you for coming to today's session. And I know last time we were talking about some of the things that your daughter says when when you're sitting at the table, when it's a meal time, and how that can be a real struggle to know how to respond and kind of what's going on here. And I thought today we could maybe go to the table, think about what happens when you're sitting at the table, and see if we can identify some of these different parts or these different modes that your daughter can be in at different times and how they might require a different response, that might
Yeah.
be more helpful. Um,
Yeah.
would that work for you to maybe look at that in a bit more detail today?
Yeah. I can imagine that when we are at the table, she would start telling like I'm disgusting
Right.
and I don't deserve it. I can't eat anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And that's a common one, that inner critic side. So I wonder, can you bring up on your screen? I know you've got the table there. Can you show me the table so that we can kind of get a sense of these different parts, and especially that
Yeah.
critic part that you've kind of just
In
talked
a
about?
second, please.
Excellent, excellent. And so what we want to do here is to work out which side she's in. So at any given time. And so the sorts of things that you were saying before, can you say that again? The
Yeah.
uh
She would say, I'm disgusting. I don't deserve it. I'm getting fat.
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
So, and we talked about that kind of side being the inner critic side. Yeah, exactly. So it's like a bully that kind of lives in her head. And of course, that's part of her experience, isn't it? It's that she's experienced some bullying. It's almost like those messages, she's really soaked them up and they've become
Yeah.
ongoing, record that plays through her mind.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And so what we want to do is to help her gradually learn that she's good enough, and to kind of set boundaries on those bullies. So what we might kind of say to her when that side comes up is something like, "Wow, that mean side is really putting you down. It's kind of bullying. I can
Mhm.
see it's kind of really bullying you at the moment. I can hear it's really shouty. It's in your face." And that's the sign. I know that when this side's loud, I know that, underneath there's a part of you that's feeling really anxious and ashamed, even though you don't deserve that. So I want that side to back off. I want that side to leave you alone so that you can do this because I can see you're trying so hard. You're really struggling with this. I want that side to know that that I don't want it here. I want it to
Yeah.
leave you alone so that you can do the work that you're trying so hard to do. Something like that, where you're kind of making it clear that that there's no space for that side of the table, that it's not okay for that side to treat her that way.
Mm.
That I want
Yeah.
that side to back off, something like that, leave you alone. Does that
Yeah.
Would that feasible? Do you think what kind of thing, how might she react if you were to say that?
I think she would then start telling that this portion is too much for me and I'm just going to take only a small amount of bread and the calories look too much. These kinds of expressions that would really
Yeah,
make me hopeless.
Right, right. Yes, that makes you feel hopeless because she starts kind of obsessing about calories and how much is on the
Yeah.
plate and the portions. Right. So when
Yeah.
we think about that, do you have a sense of which of the parts that we've kind of talked about that might be? Um,
Mm. As we discussed, I guess it's the anorexic side or the over controller.
Perfect. Yeah, the anorexic kind of over controller part, exactly. And it's a bit like an old friend that kind of helps her to feel safe, and if she can think about the rules in her head, she can start to feel safe again. And especially because the inner critic's been so strong and bullying her and making her feel ashamed, this side helps her to feel safe again. So
Yeah.
it's like, but I guess, it's very easy, isn't it? Something that you've said to me before to get into a debate with this side and kind of start and trying to negotiate, well, why don't you just eat this bit and what about that little bit? And am I getting that right, that that's kind of what normally happens?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, yeah. So I guess, when we think about this as an old friend, this is the part that's trying to help her and make her feel safe, protect her from all that overwhelming anxiety. Then we don't want to get drawn into that debate. We want her to kind of feel that there are these two different sides of her, rather than that battle between you and the anorexic over controller. We want her to recognize that there's one side of her that really wants to eat and that wants to recover and wants her life back, and there's this other side that's kind of drawing her down this route of counting calories and I guess going more down the surrendering to the eating disorder.
Yeah.
So we want her to kind of feel that there's this one side of you. I can see that this is such a struggle for you. There's this side of you that's trying to make you feel safe by counting calories, and I can see that underneath you must be really struggling, because when I know when this side is strong, when you're really struggling with food, it's your way of
Mm.
making yourself feel safe, and that tells me that underneath there's a part of you feeling really anxious.
Yeah. Yeah, that resonates with me. Yeah.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, yeah. So we want her to kind of have that feeling that there's a part of me that's happy getting my needs met this way, that wants to kind of that feels safe in this moment. But there's this other part that doesn't want to have anorexia forever, that wants to be able to recover these two different sides.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what we want is for her to connect more and to connect to you more from her anxious part, to talk more about her feelings, and to be able to share her feelings more with you so that you can comfort her and support her with that. And so that food doesn't become the way that she communicates with you, but that she can talk about feelings, she can talk about her anxiety a bit better.
Yeah.
Um, and one way that you might manage that, in the moment when when all these different modes are, when she's flipping between these different modes, is keeping a photo, of her when she was younger, just to kind of keep that in your pocket and remind yourself that this is the part I'm trying to reach. This is where I'm going. I'm trying to get past all these
Mm.
guards and the security guards and so forth, and get to this little part that I want back in my life. That even though she's at a phase where she's not that little child anymore, that little child's still inside her. There's still that essence of that little child inside her, the emotional part of her.
Yeah.
So we're making it clear that I want to see more of this part of you. I know that you're scared. I know that this anxious side of you has been triggered, and it's scary and it's difficult for you because this whole situation is so triggering and bringing up lots of difficult feelings. So you're trying to move her back to this vulnerable child, helping her to see it's okay. It's okay for you to be anxious. I'm here. That's the message. And just giving her just a feeling of hope. I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to support you through this. It's these really anxious feelings. If you can do this, they will pass. Giving her a sense of hope that it's not always going to feel like this. Um,
Yeah.
And then just kind of checking in. What do you need just now? How can I help you? What do you most need from me? Do you need a hug, or do you just want to talk about how you're feeling? Or, what are the difficult feelings that you want to talk about? Just kind of offering that. And it might not be anything. It might just be that, she can't articulate what she
Mm,
needs. I'm here if you need me, kind of thing. Um,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, how do you think that might land on for her? How do you think she might react?
Um, Actually, for now, I have no idea. I should maybe try it out to see. But
Yeah,
I think she would get maybe she would start crying or
yeah, yeah,
maybe
yeah.
getting angry even.
Right,
Something.
right. Yeah, yeah. Yes, and sometimes that can be incredibly difficult for I think for you as a parent, kind of sitting when with her as she is angry, but you can also just empathize with that, and just I know this is incredibly frustrating and annoying and irritating for you, and I get it, and I'm here to support you through this. You deserve this. You deserve to recover, and you can
Yeah,
do this. I know it's a big step, but you can do it, and I'm here for you.
yeah,
um, Resisting that urge to kind of provide all the solutions and jump in and reassure, because I guess what you're trying to do is gradually step back more and more and get her to give herself permission to eat,
yeah,
rather than you doing that. Actually, you can do this, and you deserve this. I know it's scary, but you can give yourself permission. So over time, gradually handing that over to her and getting her to listen to her body. What's your body saying, in terms of um, what you need and what a healthy response is, what you need in this moment. Uh,
yeah,
because that's what we want, is for her to tune in rather than looking for rules and um, rules in terms of how to what to eat and how much to eat, to actually recognize that her body already knows the answer to those questions. Um,
yeah.
so
I
you
guess
always
she
come
would
back to,
start. I mean, she would start repeating the same expressions and sentences on behalf of the over controller or inner critic, but I may still try to stay empathetic.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It would be very difficult for me to stay empathetic at that moment.
So incredibly difficult. It's so incredible. And even if you can just stay empathetic for, part of it, that's a huge, it's a big deal, because it's incredibly difficult. And you can just keep coming back to, there's that side again that just wants to put you down. There's that side again that just wants to comfort you by giving you lots of rules
Yeah,
and trying to get you to stop eating. I get it. I get why, how safe that makes you feel. But, I'm on the side of that part of you that wants to get your life back. And that's what we keep coming back to. I'm with that part of you that's so anxious and so overwhelmed by the anorexia, and so pushed down by the anorexia. And although the anorexia and the anorexic over controller wants to help, it's what you need right now is comfort, not rules. What you need
yeah,
right now is to talk about how you feel, not lots of analyzing the calories. And so it's coming back to that and reminding her what she really needs, what you can give her.
yeah,
Yeah. So she comes to you more and more with her feelings and asking for support and asking to talk about her feelings, rather than relying on you and your relationship being all about food, and you giving her permission to eat, in a sense.
yeah,
You can use the chairs, depending on whether she wants to use the chairs, and if it's helpful to her, you can use the chairs and leave them in there so that you can refer to them. For some adolescents, they like that. It helps them to keep track. With others, they just kind of find the whole thing ridiculous and roll their eyes, and that's
mm,
okay. Well, as long as you can imagine the different sides and refer to, there's that side again, that anorexic over controller part. It's not the enemy. It's actually your old friend. I get it. Of course, you're attached to that side. I get it's trying to help you, but I can see it's really makes you so upset, and it's taken so much of your life away. And I think we need it to be less strong in your life. Um,
Yeah.
so we're just kind of very gradually and gently helping her to see that she's not just one part. She's not just the anorexic over controller. And I think sometimes that's what she feels like. That's just me. We want her to
Mm,
see there's more to you than an anorexic over controller. Uh,
yeah.
yeah. So just imagining, your daughter's locked in this anorexic over controller fortress in a sense with her old friend, keeps her feeling safe, it keeps her feeling, comfortable, but at the same time, it's locking her away from the life that she needs and desperately wants and longs for. And your support, to you just being emotionally present and being available to her to talk about feelings is going to make a huge difference.
Mm,
Don't
yeah.
underestimate, yeah, how
You're
much.
right.
Is there anything you wanted to ask before we finish?
Um, no, that's fine. Thank you.
Okay, we can check in again next week and see how you got on with it.
Yeah. Thank you so much.